Yeah. Not a surprise, Shaheen has quite the track record of great performances in Standard, particularly at the Invitationals.
Yep. So many Invitational top 8s for him. Jeff's got one on his resume. And now we're underway. In round number 12 of 16 here from Las Vegas, a Scoured Baron here from Jeff's going to bring him up to 21.
And like I said, the concern I have in this matchup, at least for game one, is Hoogland's got Planar Outburst, Murderous Cut, 2 Utter Ends, 3 Stasis Snare, 2 Ruinous Path, 3 Silk Wrap, 2 Ultimate Price, and a Valorous Stance. All of suspect or even dead utility game one.
Now, the nice thing for Jeff, I think, is, you got this much removal, so you're going to be good against creature decks like Obs on Aggro, stuff like that. You also have a lot of answers to Jace.
Yes.
So that's a nice thing.
The fact that he can kill Jace easily is very good for him. Although, I would say Soorani's deck really isn't a Jace deck. It's there because it's powerful, but it's not central to his game plan in the same way that it is for the various builds of Jeskai.
Here's an activation of Jace. Shaheen going to draw and discard.
I think Hoogland's best route game one involves sneaking through a big copy of Secure the Waste.
Yep.
Instant speed, not the easiest card to answer, although Shaheen does have some counter spells.
We saw him do that against VD during their match earlier yesterday. In game one, Jeff was losing to a Dragon Lotus Tide and a couple other things. He drew a copy of Secure the Waste, conceded the game instead of casting it. It would have maybe given him a shot to win, but it's really unlikely, so he just conceded. Game two, he kind of caught VD off guard to Secure the Waste and Monastery Mentor, and he was able to go on to win the match. So it'll be interesting to see if Shaheen does know that Jeff has access to Secure the Waste in his deck. Shaheen going to activate Jace yet again. He's going to discard a copy of Bloodstained Mire. Land at number 4 here for Shaheen is a Polluted Delta, and as we've said so many times with Shaheen, we know he loves to play Esper, but we know he likes to play tap-out versions of Esper.
You know how you can tell he loves to play Esper?
How's that?
It's got the Onslaught, Strands, and Deltas, but had to buy the new Myers.
That's a good point. that's just a good read by you. Here's a Gideon. It's that Planeswalker approach that he's always taken.
I bet there's a lot of shuffle marks on those Deltas and Strands, if I had to guess.
Look, you've never seen bad shuffle marks until you've seen Alex Mazelton's
Ravagers?
Arcbound Ravagers. They are so warped, it's unbelievable at this point. Those things have been distributing counters everywhere. Stasis Snare helping to take care of Jace. Another Scoured Baron here for Jeff. And it won't surprise, the Frog Mites are actually worse.
Oh, yeah.
And those aren't even in the deck anymore, but oh my goodness. Here's a Read the Bones.
The Frog Mites probably attack more than the Ravagers, so you got that top center.
Yep. And
my guides are similarly marked.
Alex has a real flick with how he attacks with his creatures too. Yeah, so it gets ugly out there. Utter End the draw. And now this is Shaheen Soorani Magic. This is it through and through.
Here's a card, and this is a card, and this is an extra card, an extra card, an extra card.
This is the most Shaheen thing of all time.
For your information,
that's an extra card.
Yep.
Gonna attack you with an extra card.
Give me as many Planeswalkers as available across these colors. And all the Planeswalkers and colors are at least always pretty good.
Yep. Every turn, all I want to do is play a land, cast the most expensive spell in my hand, and still have 7 cards in my hand at the end of the turn. Yep. That's all I'm looking to do.
Couple copies of Seeker of the Way here for Jeff. Shaheen probably doesn't care too much about those. See if Shaheen's got the removal to clean these up. There's a Flooded Strand.
This is the start of round 3. You have 50 minutes. Please begin.
That's a Sunken Hollow. 2 basics out there, so the battle lands will enter the battlefield untapped. And now, a Duress to lead things off. Get an idea what the heck Jeff is working with here.
Little information also if he wants to plus or minus Obnex List this turn, depending on what's in the hand.
Planar Outburst, couple copies to Secure the Waste. Now Nixless, I believe, for Jeff, along with a Read the Bones. A lot of different stuff going on here. The difference is, since Shaheen's deck has blue, they're actually doing pretty similar things.
In terms of raw power, the best card in this hand is Obnixilis, but with Shaheen having a pretty substantial board presence right now, it's possible he doesn't really care about Hoogland having the 5-mana Planeswalker, and something like Secure the Waste or Read the Bones may become more valuable.
Duress going to take care of Soorani. Another Planeswalker on tap here. Going to start by taking care of Seeker of the Way with Obnixilis. Shaheen might be thinking another Night Ally. He is. Going to attack with just one. And now pass the turn back with Utter End at the ready. For Jeff, it's a Read the Bones. He's going to lose 2 life here. Seeker of the Way is going to get a little bit bigger.
I think Shaheen loves playing matchups like this.
I think he does too.
Mid-range decks with a lot of board control, which is what I would loosely describe Jeff's deck as. These are typically spectacular Game 1 matchups for Shaheen's style of deck.
It's a swamp there for Jeff.
Terminates in hand, terminates on the table.
It's a dream come true, especially right now. A little bit of card advantage all the way around too. Double block. Secure the waste for 1. Maybe a little surprised not to see an Utter End there.
I think that Shaheen's saving that for something like Gideon or Obnixilis or just up. He doesn't care about those kind of exchanges.
Sure.
He can do that all day long if that's the kind of trade that Hoogland wants to make.
Going to take care of the Stasis Snare to get his Jace back. Obnixilis is going to go up. Shaheen's going to lose a life to draw a card, Phyrexian Arena style. Now Jace. Draw and discard. Painful Truth is what he's picked up.
Yeah. More of that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a little short on that sort of thing. So I'll take a little more of that.
He'll discard a Polluted Delta. Jace will flip. Starts on 5. It's going down to 2. Wants to get an idea what Jeff's working with, so here's a Duress. Jeff, not showing.
No more of this.
Yep. When you're beat, you're beat.
Shaheen, just to confirm, gave him a little still had all these on the way out the door.
Had plenty in hand at Shaheen Soorani. He's up a game here over Jeff Hoogland. Esper Control very quickly up a game over Black-White Control. Reminds me of the match between Jeff and Vidianto Wajaya earlier, where Jeff did lose game number 1, but he had some nice sideboard options for game number 2 and 3. So we'll take a look at his 15 cards right now, and within the sideboard here for Jeff, you'll find 4 Duress, a Transgress the Mind, a Surge of Righteousness, 3 Monastery Mentor, a Planner Outburst, 2 Hollow Moonlight, 2 Infinite Obliteration, and a Dark Petition.
4 copies of Duress, Transgress the Mind, 3 copies of Monastery Mentor, and the Dark Petition all represent big upgrades for Hoogland in this matchup. Gets to remove the cards like Silk Wrap and some number of Ultimate Price, Valorous Stance, the cards that just don't do very much.
For Shaheen, he's got a Silk Wrap, he's got an Ultimate Price, he's got a Painful Truths, 3 Irrational Clerics, an Oshai's Command, and Narset Transcendent, 2 Negates of Languish, a Tassiger, a Felidar Cub, and 2 Infinite Obliterations of his own.
So the only card I'm positive is going to come in this matchup are the 2 copies of Negate. Lots of targets in Hoogland's deck, of course. Maybe a little bit more creature removal, things like Silk Wrap, Ultimate Price, but with Hoogland having a token theme and probably sideboarding into more controlling deck with more Planeswalkers, you can go a little too heavy on the creature removal potentially. I think the extra copy of Painful Truth and the Narset and the Languish are all fine here as well.
Well, there are your options there for both players. Jeff will maybe be on the play.
We'll see.
Yeah. No guarantee. Chose to draw that game. Didn't work out great as the Planeswalkers got to the table too early on Shaheen's side. So we'll see what he wants to do here. But in the meantime, we are going to talk about the Season 1 schedule on the SCG Tour for next year. Yeah, we're going to start things off in Las Vegas. There's an Open taking place right now, but Cincinnati is a lot closer than I think anyone realizes.
Yeah, right after the new year, January 2nd, a Modern Open in Cincinnati, then Modern in Charlotte, a Standard Open in Atlanta, Standard Open in Columbus. The regional championships, February 6th. Again, go/StarCityGames.com/regionals for more information. Modern in Louisville, Legacy Open in Philadelphia to close out February, a Standard Open in Indianapolis, Standard Open in Baltimore, and then the Season 1 Invitational in Columbus, Ohio, April 15th through 17th, Standard and Modern as the invitational formats.
And of course, for anyone who does enter any of our Opens this year, you're going to get the Kitchen Links play, Matt.
It's spilling the milk. How cute is that?
The first time you could get them was this weekend, and now you see the Kitchen Links giving the beatdowns there.
It's making a mess because kittens do that.
Do they? I wouldn't know. I don't have a cat. Free limited edition play, Matt, with entry into any Season 1 Open.
Exactly. That's all the way through up until the Columbus Invitational.
So there you go. That's Season 1 for you guys. plan your dates and your calendars accordingly as we get ready to watch more here of Jeff Hoogland and Shaheen Soorani. Black-white control, Esper control.
When's the last time there's been an Open in Louisville?
It's been a long time.
It's been a while, right?
Yeah. I like getting to stop places we haven't been for a little while. Denver last weekend was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Hoping to get to go back there next year. Had an absolute blast there.
One of my best friends is from Louisville. He lives out in California now.
Yeah?
I've always wanted to go. He speaks very fondly of it.
Yeah, Louisville's a sweet place. I've played a lot of PTQs there when I went to school at Purdue. So only about 2.5, 3 hour drive. 2 if you're quick. Which I don't advertise, but can't be late for that PTQ.
You could just leave your house at a reasonable hour.
Well, the snooze button is...
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
I know from this morning.
You do know. I had you in the snooze hard lock.
I was in the lock.
Yeah. Not my fault, okay? Sleeping's really great. Now, you can get to Louisville pretty quick. See if Jeff wants to play or draw here. Looks like he's going to play. Yep. He's going to start things off with a Shambling Vent. Over to Shaheen, we're going to go. He's got a Shambling Vent of his own.
I'm interested to see how Jeff feels the matchup changes where he would want the draw in game 1 and the play in game 2. Maybe it's a function of having Monastery Mentor in the deck. That would be my best guess.
Shaheen's hand, he's got a Gideon, a Negate, and a bunch of lands. A Plains, a Ruinous Path as well. But a Plains, a Swamp, a Sunken Hollow, and a Polluted Delta.
No two ways about it. This is a soft hand.
Yep.
And if Hoogland can get onto the table first with Gideon, that's a huge advantage. And Gideon Mirrors getting yours into play first gives you a lot of control over the terms of the engagement. You have an advantage in tokens, and you can also just plus your Gideon and attack their Gideon in spots where Gideon is vulnerable.
Jeff's trying to figure out how he wants to poke a hole. He's going to take your Gideon. Thinks he can beat the rest of the stuff so far. Dig through time to draw here for Shaheen. He'll play a Polluted Delta, pass the turn back over to Jeff. Monastery Mentor, the draw. Blighted Fen, the land. That card was huge against Esper Dragons.
Oh, yeah. I believe it.
Believe it or not.
I didn't get to watch that match, but I believe that.
It was so good there. There's an island here for Shaheen.
Blighted Fen is a card we've seen maybe one copy in some lists. Jeff's playing 3 this weekend, which is a lot. There are times where there are standard formats where if this card was available, it would have significantly changed the way the decks were built.
Yep.
Mono Black Devotion having access to a card like this.
Ugh.
Yeah. Or Mono Black Control decks of many moons ago.
Mono Black Devotion had that thing would have been a nightmare.
But because of the mana bases right now, and colorless lands and non-basic lands are a pretty big cost with the way that the mana bases look, you don't see a lot of this card, but this card is, in my opinion, among the most powerful cards in the entire set. Just contextually, the format's not very good for it right now.
Hallowed Moonlight here.
Okay, that's out of the board. I guess it does a little bit of work against some of the token generation, and also Hoogland has so much dead creature removal that he might be happier with 2-mana draw a card than some of the other cards in this deck.
All right. Here's a Transgress the Mind. That's going to get countered by Negate. Jeff will pass the turn back. Shaheen will draw.
And of course that means that you drew something relevant because the Transgress the Mind can't take Negate. So if Shaheen was on empty, he could have let that resolve.
There's a Narset. Take a look at the top card. Ochitai's Command coming to the ground.
Oh, yeah. A thing that gets a thing.
Oh, yeah.
And that thing gets a thing. This is just Shaheen's deck building.
Things full of things.
Yeah.
Narset has a lot of loyalty, so Shambling Vent not going to do a great job of checking her.
Cards that make cards. And eventually I have more cards than my opponent. My cards trade with cards. And then I'll win the game at some arbitrary point.
Because you'll have more cards left.
Yeah, it's called it's referred to as card advantage.
Yeah.
It's an advantage in the number of cards you have in relation to your opponent.
Gideon going to make a Knight Ally. We're going to go back over to Shaheen. Shaheen will draw a copy of Utter End, timely. There's a Plains.
And Hoogland's deck does not play well through a Narset ultimate, so let's keep that in mind.
I will keep that in mind. Ruinous Path. Gideon down. Jace, pass that turn back. Jeff will draw. It's a Swamp. It's got Monastery Mentor in hand. Not sure how many spells. There's the Mentor. And now, there's a Stasis Snare. Jace down, Monk on the way, and attack Narset down to 6. Soorani will untap. Take a draw here. There's a Prairie Stream. That'll enter the battlefield untapped. Now are we going to rebound something?
Well, Shaheen can rebound, let's say, an Utter End. He'll lose the Narset, but clear out most of the board.
Oh, there's your Utter End. He'll be coming back soon.
The problem is that he could plus the Narset and still lose it to combat next turn. So I think he's just looking to get his value.
Yep.
To the surprise of no one. Just get some things.
I'm curious to see what the Utter End's going to hit on the way back. There's Night Ally, there's that Monk, there's also that Stasis Snare.
I would imagine that it will be the Stasis Snare. Because then Jace that's a thing that gets more things.
It's true.
It's a thing advantage.
Soren looks like it's going to plus to take care of Narset for good.
This might induce the Utter End on the Soren now.
Yeah. Coming back.
Although, you can also get your Jace back, loot, and then perhaps answer the Planeswalker another way.
Yeah, Jace would be sick on the way back since it would just be coming back that turn. So it would take a little bit of time here. Secure the ways for 1. And pump. So Jeff's empty-handed from the duress.
Yeah, but Shaheen's leftovers are very good. He's got Dig Through Time and an Ojitize command.
Yep. I'll be seeing Jeff fire up the Shambling Vent. Maybe not. Here's an attack for 3. All right, that'll work. Good follow-up. Nope, just a Blighted Fen. Dig Through Time here. Shaheen gonna lose some cards in the graveyard to take a look at the top 7 and take 2 with him.
And this is why I like the matchup for Shaheen is that Hoogland really does not have an analog for this card. I guess Secure the Waste is kind of his version, but Soorani has counters for Secure the Waste. Hoogland only has discard spells, so Dig Through Time off the top is just not something Hoogland's equipped to answer. Puts a lot of pressure on him to end the game quickly, and his deck's not that well equipped to play that sort of game.
Looks like Shaheen's happy with what he's found. It's now time to untap and draw. He's got to overcome a couple copies of Shambling Vent. And then some creature tokens.
Well, see, throughout his 75, Soorani has access to a full playset of Languishes. So this board is not that hard for him to answer, especially when he's access to cards like Dig Through Time. He has a lot of selection.
Assuming he left Languish in.
I would imagine against the 1/1 and 2/2 deck that you would probably...
Yeah. I'd be surprised if he boarded it out, but he didn't see a ton in game 1 either.
Sure. But these players have also been near each other for most of the tournament at this point.
Jeff looks like he's coming in. Damage going to be dealt. Another Blighted Fen. Just past the turn back. See, Shaheen just can't ever fire up a Shambling Vent to block because Blighted Fen will take care of it. So here's Ojitize command. Going to gain some life and draw a card. And now here's Dig Through Time. Looks like he's going to lose most of the graveyard, if not all of it. It's all gone now. Take a look at the top 7. Jeff, not a lot he can do about it. Dig Through Time is 1. Utter End might be 2.
I think Jeff is probably aware that he's holding on by a thread into this game.
You think so?
He's at the mercy of just the top of Shaheen's deck, by which I mean the top 15 cards of Shaheen's deck, because he looks at 8 cards a turn.
Negate the draw for Shaheen. He'll play a Flooded Strand. Pass the turn back. Jeff going to quickly untap. Take a draw here. Jeff's best draw is probably Secure the Waste right now.
I don't know if he... Shaheen's got so many counter spells in his hand. He's just waiting for Hoogland to put in something. He even has Scatter the Winds. I think if Hoogland draws something that he can cast on his main phase, Soorani would be thrilled.
Yeah.
Just please, let me cast this counter spell and use my mana efficiently.
There's Sunken Hollow.
I think Soorani may have found another dig off the previous dig.
He did.
Yeah, so just keep on digging.
He can keep chaining, and if he finds a Languish, life is going to be very easy. It's just that Shaheen's ability to just make a blocker, like a Jace or something, that's just off the table because of the Blighted Fence.
Right. He can't lean on the creatures. It's got to be spells right now.
Take a look. Can he find a Languish, assuming he's got him left in the deck? Getting among the cards he's found. Looks like he's going to be taking at least Gideon. Something else here. Yeah, he's happy.
Still no Languish, though.
Nope. Duress the draw. Yeah, you mentioned the counter magic. He's got no shortage of that. Yeah, Jeff ready to see his creatures die. They're not going to die just yet, though, I don't think. Yeah, here's Gideon. He's going to make a Night Ally. Blighted Fen already getting ready here.
Mm-hmm. Jeff just cannot wait to use this on something.
Yeah. That's down.
But even for Shaheen, you know, you trade with one of the Fens, and it's most of Jeff's turn to attack the Gideon down. It's not the end of the world. It's essentially another redraw towards Languish, because it's a turn.
Does he have to attack Gideon?
Suppose not. I suppose with the other Blighted Fen, you can just let it go and try to win over 2 turns.
Yeah.
The problem is that if you just say go, then it's possible Shambling Vent becomes a blocker for Soorani next turn. And then your Blighted Fens don't do a whole lot of work because there's a 2-2 and the 2-3.
All right, Gideon down. Pass the turn back. Island the draw here for Shaheen. There's Duress. It's Utter End and something else. Hollowed Moonlight. Shaheen going to take care of Hollowed Moonlight. Pretty easy to play around Utter End right now.
Yep.
Now here's Jace. Jace gives nice protection around the Blighted Fen so that Shambling Vent can actually, you know, do something.
Right. Because right now, it's not... Hoogland doesn't attack very well through a Shambling Vent.
There's Utter End. Negate.
Yeah, I think Shaheen really needs to protect this.
Ooh, Stasis Snare is nice. Okay. Scatter the Winds.
Because this allows him next turn to flashback, dig through time, and get another look at Languish.
Keep in mind that Monk token is a 3/3.
Yeah, this attack causes Shaheen to fall down to 3, which means he can still stabilize the game next turn and take a hit from a Shambling Vent.
Oh, weird game.
Yeah, it's surprising to see, you know, Shaheen's decks usually have problems with, you know, red 2-power 1-drops. It's rare to see him struggle this much against threats that are this slow and mid-rangey, but the Blighted Fens have cut out some of his options in terms of blocking or gumming up the works. He hasn't found a Languish, and now his life total is getting pretty low, and even if he finds it right away, he risks the Shambling Vents and Blighted Fens ending the game.
I do think it's entirely possible he's let go a lot of his Languishes after sideboard.
I'm starting to get that sense too, just because he's looked at so many cards that it just seems so unlikely that he's looked at this many cards and has not found a Languish.
Yeah.
But this matchup seems so good for Languish that, you know, maybe you have 2 or 3, but having 0 in your deck, that would surprise me.
Well, it's Jeff's turn. He's drawn his card. Now he's just trying to figure out how he wants to attack.
And it's tough because he has to choose between leaving Blighted Vent available or activating Shambling Vent.
Yep.
Magic players, this is a last call to sign up for today's.
Well, there's the Fen.
Challenge that begins at 1 p.m.
This is from
If you have
Jace.
not yet signed up and are planning on playing in that
Now
event,
here's
come up
Utter
to
End.
speak with my friend James at the end of the stage.
Get back to Jace.
That's a big win for Soorani here if Hoogland's turn was no attacks.
Yep.
Big win.
Just didn't feel like he had any good attacks to be had there.
And now Jeff is out of Blighted Fens, and his board can't really attack through Shaheen's Shambling Vent productively. And Soorani's leftovers are no joke. Besides the land, he's got a Narset and a Scour to the Winds. Those are great leftovers to have here.
And Shaheen bringing in the second Narset from the sideboard. Just a land and a pass. Back to Jeff. Monastery Mentor. Scatter the Winds with Awaken. Seems like he's been dying to cast this.
Sometimes we see one copy of this card hang out in some lists. You know, it's a little bit on the clunky side. Good if the game goes late. Shaheen, 3 in the main.
Here's a Read the Bones. That one's good. Jeff gonna take a look at a couple cards here. One on top, one on bottom. 2 cards coming. There's a Swamp. Pass the turn back. Again, this entire time I feel like he's just looking for Secure the Waste because it just worked so well for him against Vidianta Wijaya earlier in the tournament.
Yeah, especially at this point with Shaheen at 4, it forces a counterspell.
Yep.
Shaheen can't wait for the next turn.
Jace is flipped. Painful Truce was the discard. Don't think we're going to see any attacks here from Shaheen, but you will see Jace go down.
I think we're digging.
Yep. And Jeff with his hands crossed saying, I can't do much about it. Now just don't hit whatever you're looking for, please. Never a good feeling to rub your hands together when your opponent gets to look at 7 cards. That's a very confident man.
I love Hoogland's optimism here.
Yes. Murderous Cut and Dig through time, I believe, are the cards he's found.
Though keep in mind, Hoogland on the table still not in a position to attack.
Shaheen's also looking at Ob Nixilis right now. He kind of wants to cast that because it's such a powerful card, but looks like he might just let that one go.
Well, it's tough to commit that kind of card to the table. It does very little at this point, and casting it means that you can't leave up Shambling Vent.
We'll take that.
Okay.
He's casting it. It's here.
Now, if Shaheen's leftovers are some sort of terminate, if he has, say, a Murderous Cut, this play makes a lot of sense. Because the board now looks almost good enough for Hoogland to attack, and you probably want to get one of the 2 Planeswalkers off the table if possible. If Hoogland commits his entire turn making an attack, assuming that 1 creature or 2 creatures are going to get through. In fact, Soorani's left himself dead on the table, in quotes. There's a Shambling Vent and several attackers, and Soorani's at 4. So he needs to have something pretty big here.
Well, I believe that's a removal spell.
Ruinous Path, maybe?
I
Some
think.
promo Ruinous Path.
Yeah. There's Murderous Cut.
But Hoogland's got the leftovers for the last 4 points if Soorani's got nothing.
Well, Night Owl, one of those is a soldier from Secure the Waste.
Oh,
so
excuse
it's an
me.
attack
Okay.
for 3. Yep, and he's going to finish off Planeswalkers. Pass the turn back. Does she have anything left?
He's got a Narset, and he's still got his Shambling Vent.
All right. All right, all right. Narset up. So many counters on that thing. Scatter.
Scatter's a great draw.
Yep.
Again, with the way the board is right now, Hoogland can't really attack. I suppose he can simply send in 1 creature and threaten to use the Blighted Fen in the event that Soorani animates the vent.
Oh, Shane's going to get right back in his face.
And that's why he's doing this, because he can't leave the Shambling Vent on defense at this point.
Yep. So he's going to go back to 6. That's a big draw from Jeff. And the shields are down from the scatter. So Jeff will get to pay a life to draw a card. And now Duress. And now attack. Pass the turn back. Narset. Ugh. Painful truths, huh? I believe that actually is a knight ally that's on the battlefield. And if that's the case in a combination with the shambling events, I think Jeff may have missed an onboard kill a couple turns ago.
Yep.
I thought it was a soldier from Secure the Waste, but I don't know if that's the case now, because Narset just went from 7 to 5.
I also would have had a preference, I think, for Hoogland to just attack Shaheen last turn instead of the Narset. It feels like he's in a position with the Blighted Fen to kind of just finish out the game with attacks and try to play around the Narset. In the event that Shaheen draws a bunch of removal spells or a sweeper or something, it's not like having Narset on 5 loyalty is worth very much to you.
Obnixilus is drawing cards now.
And Jeff kind of got max punished for that last turn with Shaheen drawing Painful Truths. His light total is tenuous, and the extra points matter a lot.
You're going to keep going after Narset, down to 4. All right, what comes next? It's going to try Gideon. Jeff has just never run out of stuff to do. It's weird because he's playing against that has Dig Through Time and Painful Truths.
Well, Jeff is sideboarding into, his own card drawers. He's got a bunch of copies of Read the Bones in the main deck.
Here's Ochi's Command.
You see, Jeff can kind of hang around in terms of the card count battle, and not all of Soorani's answers line up against Jeff's threats the right way.
Shaheen's going to go up to 7, get back Jace. Time to untap and draw. Polluted Delta the draw. Narset still out here. Jeff's empty-handed. He's got 2 Planeswalkers. Shaheen's going to play Utter End with Rebound. It's a fun way to take care of the Planeswalkers. Obnixilus down. What's this one going to be? Languish, I think. Yep.
Pretty good looking turn.
Yep. Land available to be able to activate Shambling Vent. Gideon, cash it in for an emblem. I think that's a smart play by Jeff, actually. Gonna take a look at Narset. I think Jeff wants to know, do you have to rebound it?
Yeah. I mean, making an emblem here is still fine anyway, because he's going to lose it regardless, and then his Shambling Vents are 3/4s against Soorani's 2/3s.
Jeff gonna fire up or not? Looks like with at least 1, maybe 2.
He's got 3/4s. I mean, attacking with both seems fine to me here.
Yeah. And then he can just kill Narset. Yeah, all right. Gonna kill Narset, can't have much of life. This is an impressive comeback here from Jeff. I thought he was dead to rights a long time ago. Shaheen, rebound. Nothing to do.
Although I think my preference would have been for Hoogland just to knock Soorani down to 1. Narset doesn't yield a whole lot of spells that can answer Shambling Vents.
Shaheen's going to attack with his Shambling, so now we have a Shambling Vent duel.
And Soorani has a lot of time here to draw out of this because he's getting 4 life on the way back, maybe 6 next turn. Then he's at parity.
But Jeff's got big draws available too.
Yeah, oh, for sure. I think that if I were in Jeff's position, I would have made more of an effort to get this game over with sooner and worried a little bit less about the Planeswalkers on some of the swing turns.
Oh, Shaheen's going to get to attack for 6 and gain 6. So
yeah, they're at parity.
Yeah, now we're parried again. What I find interesting is if Jeff draws that Secure the Waste, though, we are at anything but parity. What's this? Gideon. Cash it in. Get on in. It's an attack for 4 now.
And now Jeff starts pulling ahead with the life.
Yep. So maybe Shaheen's vents hang back. Not too sure.
Well, if he finds something to do with his mana, he can do that, but he might as well gain the 2 or 4 life that he can along the way.
Read the bones. Resolves. Secure the ways. How are ya? Jeff's going to keep those. Play a land. Going to fire up at least one vent. How about both? They're 4/5s. Here's Ojutai's command from Shaheen. Going to get Jace back. And looks like gain 4 life, so he's back up to 7. Draw, discard. There goes Languish. That's not doing much right now. Jace is at 5 now that it's transformed. Oh boy, is he going to cast Painful Truths?
He can find a lot of gas. He's still got life to play with.
It just feels like, and again, both these players are 7-0 in standard so far. You have to imagine Jeff's deck has just put kind of Esper control decks and other decks like this in unfamiliar positions.
It's definitely, I mean, this game is obviously been an odd one.
Definitely true. 3 cards. 2 of them are lands. There's a swamp.
And even though that Jace and the extra Jace look like poor draws, they aren't all that shabby here for Soorani, as it's protection against the Blighted Fen. And the Blighted Fen makes it challenging for Shaheen to leave his Shambling Vents back as blockers. Because at this stage of the game, Shaheen would gladly double block, or try to triple block even, to try to get some of the vents off the table, make some headway that way. But Blighted Fen makes that very challenging to do.
Can Soorani find a way to work his way out of it? Feldar Cub. Pass. Hoogland quickly untapping.
And now, Secure the Waste is definitely powerful for Jeff to have, but he does have to kind of give it away if he wants to play it. Because he has to just pass instead of attacking with all the Shambling Vents, especially because attacking with the Shambling Vents looks so good on the surface.
There's one vent. There's a second vent. Here they come. Attack you, not Jace. Shaheen will chump, it looks like, with one of his. So Shaheen's going to gain some life and take some damage. Going to fall down to 2. 4th vent there for Jeff. Shaheen going to push up Jace. That doesn't do all that much, of course. Delta. I don't know if Shaheen has an out right now. I'm not sure what card gets him out of this situation.
Jace Emblem.
Just go to that?
Yeah, that's the long term. I think that's the route. Dealing damage at this point with Jeff at 35, I think that ship may have sailed.
Yeah, and now here, Secure the Waste. It looks like he's going to do some blocking on Shambling Vent.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, he just eats. He has 2 emblems.
Yeah, they're
so.
3/3s.
Yep.
Yeah, that's going to do it. Jeff Hoogland's going to win this game here over Shaheen Soorani. Black-white control, Esper control, getting ready for a 3rd game with about 11 minutes left. Heck of a comeback there.
Yeah, faded some critical dig-through times there. I think if Soorani had found a Languish there in the mid-game, it would have been very challenging for Jeff to win, but he avoided it, kept pressure on the whole time, and Jeff just had enough powerful stuff in his deck to continue to force the issue. And the fact that Soorani couldn't effectively answer Shambling Vent was a huge problem.
That's just so weird.
Yeah.
Such a weird game to see the options for both players. So perhaps we'll see some speed magic here from both of them. Who knows? But a really weird comeback there from Jeff in his black-white control deck. You can see part of the reason he's 7-0 with this thing.
Yeah, that was an odd game, to say the least.
Maybe a little bit more resilient than you think. That's for sure.
Look up and down Soorani's list here, and Gideon Emblem plus Shambling Vent is not something he's that well equipped to answer. His removal spells, he's got a lot of counters. He's got sorcery speed stuff like Ruinous Path, Languish, and Silk Wrap. He has Utter End, that can't target lands. There just aren't that many workarounds for large Shambling Vents in his list.
Well, these players are going to shuffle up. They're going to get ready for the next one here. You see Harlan Veer walking out of the feature match area. Makes you wonder if he beats Sam Black or not. We'll try to find out for you guys. And now these players are going to have to giddy up, giddy up. One of these players could walk out of here at 8-0 in standard.
Yeah, well, or 7-0-1 for both. But in any event, a very impressive run for both of these players through the standard portion of this event.
Very quickly, we'll talk about the StarCityGames.com holiday sale that is taking place right now, December 1st to January 1st, up to 20% off of select promos. It'll end Monday, this particular special at 10:59 a.m., but best of all, new ones coming all month long.
Yeah, every day, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, the website is updated with new sales, so make sure to be heading back to the website throughout the month of December. Also, we're going to have stocking stuffer deals all month long on things like deck boxes, sleeves, alternate art, lands, and so forth. So be checking the website every single day, Monday through Friday, throughout the month of December.
It's a Jace Vryn's Prodigy here for Shaheen. Duress from Jeff. Take a look at the grip there. Painful Truths down. Another Jace there for Shaheen. And then a couple of battle lands there in Prairie Stream. 2 Sunken Hollows. Time to draw and discard for Shaheen. He'll discard a Sunken Hollow. What comes next? A Polluted Delta. Pass the turn back over to Jeff. Jeff will draw. Hollowed Moonlight will allow him to cantrip. Did he find a land? I think the answer is no. Activation of Jace here. Shaheen's got all the lands.
Turn 2 Hollow Moonlight would have been a tough start for Jeff under any set of circumstances facing down Jace, but missing land drop number 3 as well. Gonna be rough.
Well, he found one now in a Plains. And now there's a removal spell to kill Jace, or at least attempt to. It's a Ruinous Path. Dig through time here for Shaheen. You're seeing the speed magic aspect of things.
Both these players do play, I think, at a pretty crisp pace overall.
Agreed.
It's just a long matchup.
Take a look at the top 7, Will Shaheen. Rest will go to the bottom as he gets to take 2 with him. Looks like Narset was one of them. Funny thing, you mentioned, as here comes a Duress, I believe. Jeff's hand, we know it's all spelled. Stark Petition, Read the Bones, Hollowed Moonlight, Duress, Sorin.
Really light on pressure, though.
Yep, Stasis Snare. If Shaheen gets to the ultimate with Narset, it's basically over.
Yeah, not a lot of workarounds here for Hoogland's deck.
Read the Bones down, Narset in. Elevator going up to 7. Take a look. Languish will give Shaheen a lot of protection as Jeff will draw a card. Jeff did find a Plains. Might be time to cast that Sorin. Gonna go with Duress to start. Languish down. Pass the turn back. Narset's gonna go up to 8. Top card. Languish. Island. Jace. With Shambling Vent to defend. Stasis Snare will take care of that. Back over to Jeff. Blighted Fen. Dark Petition.
Invitational players, that is time in the round.
I'm assuming this is for Ruinous Path.
Once again, a reminder.
And it is.
Final round of standard today.
But Shane's got another end on the unstep to get his Jace back.
Modern.
So he'll activate the Jace. Discard. Flip. It's at 5. There's a land. Sacrifice his Polluted Delta. Well, Shane is running at 7 minutes here.
And you can tell from a couple turns ago with Soorani taking the Read the Bones out of hand, he feels like this is a battle just over raw card count more than anything else in particular. And you can see Jeff, even though he missed some early land drops there, he's down to about 2 cards in hand, I think. So Shaheen, you can see 2 cards in hand, more mana, adjacent play, and I think he's about to flash back a Dig Through Time as well.
Well, it's down to 2. Is the Jace. Now he'll go a dig in. Actually, he's going to go Truth in.
Okay,
Also fine.
much the same principle.
Yep.
I guess he wants to Truths here to leave up the copy the Shambling Vent more efficiently.
Omnixilus is here. Pay a life, draw a card. Scoured Barrens, gain a life. Ochtai's command here. Shaheen will draw. And I believe game 4. Time to untap as he's at 19. Draw again. Prairie Stream. He was close to getting to that Narset ultimate. Here's Jace. Gonna check out Nixus a little bit with that Shambling Vent. Gain 2 life in the process. Shambling Vent there for Shaheen. Pass the turn back over to Jeff. Jeff gonna push Obnixilus up to 5. Draw a card, pay a life. There's a swamp. Lands aren't a problem anymore for Jeff. He'll use Blighted Fen, take care of Jace. Simply pass the turn back over to Shaheen. Shaheen will quickly untap, take a draw here. Gonna cash in Jace. Dig, dig, dig.
Well, the safe play is Utter End, get off Obnixilus off the table. The riskier play is try to find something that answers Obnixilus and gives you something left over with the dig through time.
Well, he's gonna
Players
dig.
who have signed up for today's Commander Pod number 4. Commander number 4.
Out of the graveyard, about to go away.
Side of this registration area. Your event is
Languish, Narset, Jace.
once again, players in
Duress,
Commander
all
number
gone.
4. Your event is
Top 7, take 2. He's found the ones he's happy with. Looks like Tasker is among them. The Vent into Obnixilus. A Prairie Stream. Pass a turn back. Jeff will draw. Obnixilus going up to 4. Take another draw step. There's a Swamp. This is a Duress. See Shaheen's hand. Murderous Cut. Negates. Languish. Couple of lands over there as well. Looks like maybe a Scatter the Winds. Though Shaheen's drawing a lot of cards with Dig Through Time and Painful Truths, Jeff is keeping up.
Well,
Yet again.
Obnixilus is worth a lot.
Yeah.
That kind of battle. And Jeff is playing 3 copies in his main deck.
Shaheen gonna turn up the Vents here. At least 1, looks like 2. Go after Obnixilus. Jeff would like to block with his Vent. Obnixilus will fall down to 2. He's trying to chip away at it. Get that darn thing off the battlefield. Here's a Hollow Moonlight on the end step because Jeff needs to cycle, so he'll draw. Now he'll untap. Obnixilus at the ready. Time to draw again. To Shaheen. Scatter the Winds. It's a Flooded Strand. Let's do this again.
It's a tough way to do it here.
Would you say so? Ooh, double block.
I mean, this still allows Jeff to protect the Obnixilus much the same way the next turn and costs Shaheen his Vent and his turn.
And his land. Like, you know,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
a creature, a land drop. Jeff gets to keep his Planeswalker. Gonna play another Shambling Vent. Shambling Vent's been very impressive in this match on both sides. Heck of a card. You would think a 2/3 lifelinker isn't that big of a deal, but when it's a creature land, it's a big deal.
Yeah, well, when it's free, it's really awesome.
Yeah, I tell you. Fathom Feeder.
Sure. It's not bad here.
New plan. Dead. Or is it? Negates. Leave my Fathom Feeder alone. Stasis Snare.
I mean, if Hoogland's light on removal in hand, Fathom Feeder is a way for Soorani to catch up in terms of raw card count.
Mm-hmm. Scatter the Winds with Awaken on the Shambling Vent. Biggest vent of them all. Obnixilus going up. Monastery Mentor the draw. There's a Plains. Mentor, Soorani, Monk token, kick it over. Duress, great way to lead things off. 2 Planeswalkers left over. Shaheen's gonna take down Obnixus, I think. Yep. We're under a minute here. Can either one of these players finish? Shambling Vent's gonna go active. Keep in mind now, because of the 3 counters from Awaken, that thing is much larger than normal.
Yeah, and I think...
Ooh, Languish.
that Jeff has put a fair, maybe overextended a fair bit much into the Languish last turn. Possible he would have been better served by just plussing the Soorani rather than minusing for a Vampire. I guess he has to pull the trigger on it at some point. It's hard for him not to.
Oh, he's pulling the trigger on that one. The replacement Soorani. Is it a negate from Shaheen?
I mean, it's really Shaheen's last relevant card in hand. The other one is a Felidar Cub that's not worth a whole lot on this board.
Turns now, and it's turn 0 right now. The standard format is not fast, folks. It's a slow, grindy one. We saw it in the last match between Joe Lissette and Jerry Thompson. We see it here again between Jeff Hoogland and Shaheen Soorani. Soorani is on the stack, and now it's in.
I think Soorani is just saying, with us going into turns and me at 30, the Soorani just doesn't change the calculus of whether or not Hoogland can win in time.
Yeah, it's just so unlikely. Turn 1.
But something like Secure the Waste or even Gideon's probably more likely to make that an issue.
Yeah. Secure in combination with Soorani and Gideon.
Right, so
yeah.
you're better off just holding back on the negate most likely.
Looks like it's going to be a large block on a Shambling Vent. Is Shaheen going to activate it? So Shambling Vent and a Vampire down. 1 Vampire left over. Shaheen going to gain a bunch more life. Another Shambling Vent. And the Cub.
Boom.
Ever heard of it?
Can't take it with you, you know?
No. Turn 2. I think Secure may have been the draw.
Yeah, I mean, the leftovers in Hoogland's hand. Secure the Waste and Gideon.
Here's Gideon. That's going to get the negate. I think Jeff is happy with that, by the way.
Well, he only gets
one attack.
attack. Soorani's at 35. Going to be tough to do.
Plus
a Shambling Vent back for Soorani as well.
just in case.
It's asking a lot.
Secure the Waste. It's for 6. 6 soldiers on the way.
So what are we? Is Read the Bones into 2 Gideons even a draw at this point? I'm trying to think of what the hypothetical outs are for Hoogland.
I think, let's see, 7 soldiers plus 1 from Soorani, 2 emblems from Gideon makes him 4 power.
Yeah, I mean, they're 4-piece. It's 20. I don't know. It's close-ish.
Yeah, it's close-ish.
Whatever. See how the last turn plays out.
Yeah. Obnixus is going to draw a card. That thing's been out there the entire game. I really do feel like with enough time, maybe Jeff is able to get the job done here.
He looks advantaged.
Yeah.
Soorani's deck draw is so big in these spots that I don't think it's a lock, but yeah, Jeff strikes me as being ahead.
Vents plus beatdowns. There are your blocks. They'll separate the life totals here. Shane's going to get one last draw step, and it'll be a draw. I can't imagine the concession's going to unfold here at all. Given these records in this tournament, there's almost no shot, yeah. So they'll do the shoulder shrug. They'll sign the slip. It'll be a draw here between the 2 players as Jeff Hoogland and Shaheen Soorani just could not finish in time. It's a long match.
Yep.
You know, it's just a long match between the 2 players. Jeff, I think, is advantaged at the very end of that game, but I think that if time's not an issue, maybe Shaheen plays things a little bit differently, and you can say the same for Jeff.
I mean, Shaheen's still drawing 2 removal spells for Planeswalkers and Languishes, so
yeah.
that game is not locked up by any stretch, even though Jeff is ahead. this format takes a long time to play, and a lot of it has to do with the battle lands and the fetch lands. I've mentioned that several times, but there's other things going on here as well.